Good evening once again and welcome to Big Budget Business. Let me apologize firstly for the technological mishap that we had earlier on. And as I was saying, what we seek to do on this show, Big Budget Business, is to ensure that young people, whether in business or professional settings, are inspired to do and be more than they already are. And so today we're speaking to performance coach, author and radio presenter, Mr. Mompoloki Makwana. Mr. Makwana, thank you so much for being on Big Budget Business.
Big Budget, thank you so much for hosting me. You know, I'm super excited to have conversations. Like already we have been having a conversation before the show started. We're talking about the impact and how much value we can create in our nation. If we can borrow from already what I was talking about, JF Kennedy, who said, you know, ask not what your country can do for you, but what we can do for it. This is the man who once told the Americans, said, we are going to go to the moon. And it happened even after he was, after he left the presidency. This shows the impact that we have, and this show is all about that. It's all about creating impact and shaping our economy.
Absolutely. You know, I love how we've already started on a high energy level. I'm looking forward to a very, very scintillating conversation with you.
Yes, sir.
Because there are a lot of different aspects that we'll be discussing today, which I feel will be of benefit to a lot of people. And today, not specifically just young people in business, but also people in professional settings. So let me start by getting a brief background of you, Mr. Makwana. Tell us the story behind the man. Yes.
All right. Like I always say, you know, when I was in the US for the Mandela Washington Fellowship, I know you were there in 2018, and I will say I'm Makwana from Botswana. And people will remember that forever.
Wonderful.
I'm Mompoloki Makwana from Monaladao. I'm Mompoloki Makwana from Monaladao, raised by my mother, a single mother, and I'm the firstborn. And, you know, growing up, there are expectations around that. What you should do, how you should mold your behavior, how you should influence your young ones, you know, your brothers and siblings. So I grew up with the, you know, that spirit to lead. Even from a young age. I remember at my primary school, there was a time when I would read the Bible verse at the assembly. You know, I would present before the assembly and read the Bible for them. When I got to junior school, you know, I would go to attend the police, you know, workshops and understand about the law. You know, I wanted to become a lawyer. By that moment, I really wanted to become a lawyer. And I would absorb all that information and start sharing it at the assembly at junior school. High school, the same thing happened. I met one book which introduced me to radio when Gaone was still on radio. And the book was called, you know, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It transformed the way I look at life. It transformed the way I think about life. And so when I came to the city, I was aware that I can become a nobody or I can establish myself as a brand. That was at the back of my mind. So that attitude has molded the kind of person I am. I'm a businessman who runs Prime Coaching, you know, and Prime Publishers. We also have a product coming called Prime, you know, Employee Magazine. And I also write books. The recent one, Team Building Guide for Workplace Effectiveness. I am passionate about people development. If there is anything that has to do with helping the next person to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I am the right person to do that. I call myself the Prime Coach at Prime Coach.
Prime Coach. I like how you said the Prime Coach. There's none other. Wonderful. And we're so happy to have you here. You know, there was a lot of excitement about what you will be bringing to the show today, especially from the perspective of teams and the like, and how people can work together to create value. But we will get into all of this. We will get into all of this. Let me remind you at home that we are live, and we will share a link a bit later during the show that you can click on to call into and ask Mompoloki Makwana or myself any questions that you have with respect to what we'll be discussing today. Right, so you have spoken about Mompoloki Makwana, the individual, the man. Let's talk about this entrepreneurship aspect. When did you feel that the knack for entrepreneurship started? When did you get into it, and how did you get to where you are today?
All right. That's a very good question, because I normally don't share that part of the story. And I never even call myself an entrepreneur, if you can see that. But along the way, people are going to see a lot of work that I'm doing that maybe I have not put it out there. There's a lot of work that I do. But, you know, my journey, Big Budget, started with my mother. My mother was an entrepreneur lady. You know, I still remember she was selling some scones. She was selling bread, which when it inspired me that I want to have a bakery at my home village. And that is still something that I want to do. So she was also selling a lot of, you know, when I do it robileng ko tshimong, mabele, dinawa, and stuff like Harvest. That. We will go to Pique Mall. Well, Pique was still Pique. We will go there and we will sell a lot of stuff. And I still remember myself, selling some oranges. And in my first book, The Birth of Greatness, I explained this moment where there was a point when I was having a conversation with my grandfather, my late grandfather, that when I grow up, I really want to be a businessman.
Wow.
And that was coming from seeing my father, my late father, my biological father. He was a carpenter. He will design chairs. I will see cars for Ellerins coming to collect those chairs from my father's yard, going to sell them at stores. And I say, this is something we can create. My grandfather will do things, tsaholema, mehoma, and stuff like that, and people will come to buy bricks from our place. So I've been exposed to that. So this is the turning point. When I was doing my studies in university, I got an opportunity to go to Finland to study about ecology and forest industry, which I'm very passionate about, environmental issues. So and what happened was when I got there, I joined Joensu Entrepreneurship Society, which was the society was responsible for cultivating entrepreneurs. That is why later on in 2019, when I applied for Mandela Washington Fellowship, I said I want to create a Botswana entrepreneurship hub, which is something I'm working on. And so by that moment when I got exposed to that, I realized that there are people who make money. And what they did is every Wednesday at Finland, 2015, we'll go into a restaurant, order food. You will stand up and say, hi, my name is Mompoloki Makwana. I have this business and I want to sell to you. You know what I pieced by that moment? I stood before the people for the first time and I said, are you busy at work? Are you busy doing something? We can order your food, we can order grocery and drop it at your doorstep.
Wonderful.
7 years later, I saw such kind of product being done in Botswana as my foodness. And so that was when the entrepreneurial journey was birthed in me. So when I came back, I said, you know what? I even wrote in my maths book, I remember someone laughed and looked, I said, I am not going to be an employee, I am going to employ people. Wonderful. So that is what launched me into the issue of entrepreneurship.
Wow. Yeah, a very rich journey that you have there. And some things that I'm highlighting here is that it's very passion driven. I like how the first thing you said was, it begins with my mother.
Yeah, it does.
Wonderful. And shout out to all the mothers out there. It was Mother's Day recently, so happy belated Mother's Day to all of you out there. And so it's very good for a lot of the stuff we do to be coming from a deeper point. Another thing you did say when you introduced yourself, you said you started young. In primary school, you were there reading Bible verses to the school. Junior school, it was the same thing. Junior high, it was the same thing. So would you say that this has sort of shaped the man that you are today from the very beginning?
It has, because, I don't sit back and wait for things to happen and say, what was that? I want to be at the forefront. And that attitude of wanting to find things out for yourself and wanting to be at the forefront, to paving a path for those who come after you is very crucial. And I realized that it just comes in that. Even when I walk in a store, just an ordinary store, there's a certain way people receive me. And I'm mindful of that big budget. I'm mindful because people are hurt, people are going through a lot. And when you get in a space where people every day, they recognize you, not for what you did, not that you are a celebrity, but because the way you carry yourself, that on its own has molded how I am. So I'm really mindful of the kingdomship leadership that I have in me. That even without holding any position in a group, if we can go for a seminar or a conference, people will just start noticing you because of what you have cultivated, not because of favor, not because but because of the kind of man I decided. And that's a key word, I decided that I want to be.
Wonderful, wonderful. You see, I think we're picking up something there about self-conduct. You see, getting into a room and having your reputation precede you and people actually respecting you off of just who you are. That's a wonderful thing.
That's how best you said it. And I want to add to that. I said that same statement that sometimes I go into places where people don't know me, even outside the country. Eswatini people attended, when I was doing my 2020 growth tour before the COVID, the numbers of Eswatini were more than Botswana. And my friend said, it's the way you carry yourself. When you carry yourself in a certain way, there's a level of grace that goes beyond you and speaks for you before you can even speak. And that is something that I want to talk about today as we teach people about how to create value, how to become a valuable person. Yeah.
It's a very high energy show that we have today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that we are live. Please do post your comments in the comment section if you have any questions. We're talking about issues with respect to career development, value creation, and how you can just basically become the best you. Because it's you, when you cultivate yourself and actually nurture yourself into the leader you want to be, the world reacts to that.
The world reacts to your value.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's talk about your businesses before we talk about the more technical aspects. Tell us about Prime Coaching, its services, the business and its services, as well as Prime Publishers, the business and its services.
Yeah, I want to show you how sometimes when you work on yourself, there are certain opportunities that locate you even if you were not targeting them on the initial phase.
Wonderful.
There are certain called big budget that you are going to receive because of doing this show. Not that you were doing this show for them, but because you were creating value and being mindful that you can take a lead and you can impact people. And so when I was doing a radio segment coming from Finland in 2015, when I came back, I saw people of my age having farms, supplying milk to big stores. And I said, why can't we do that? And I asked myself, how do we think as the youth of Botswana to create such a massive businesses at a younger age? And I realized this was the issue of mindset. So when I came back from the exchange program while I was still in school, in 2016, I approached RB2. And I said, you know what? I want to start teaching people about mindset issues, how to cultivate the mind. Because the battlefield is in the mind, like TD Jakes will say, right? So now, the program is called Empowering Your Vision. This was when we were looking at Vision 2016. I borrowed the name from that. So now, when I started doing Empowering Your Vision, listen to this. I was wanting to transform people's mind. I started receiving calls, people say, hey, la business ako kukai. I was not having a business. You get the point. So my target was to impact people to see things differently. It's Les Brown who said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at changes. So that was my mandate. So I started receiving calls. Can we come to your office? Oh, I need one-on-one. And so people start dictating what kind of products I should create.
So out of what, that initiative that you took, that step that you took to say, I will approach RB2, I will go to them and tell them that I want to change people's mindsets. Thereafter, you're getting calls that, hey, we'd like to come to your office. What is your business? Where is your business? And it wasn't even there yet.
Business.
Take that step. It's important to take that step. I think a lot of us, you know, and a lot of us have fallen victim to this, where you're fearful of taking that first step. But usually when you take that first step, a whole world can open up to you.
Very true.
Wonderful.
Very true. And more, to add more to that, there's something that really happens. You know, Configures once said the universe conspires to help the dreamer. So when I started receiving those calls and I started asking people, okay, what are you looking for? No, then I went to register the business Prime Coaching. So Prime Coaching now started registering in that. Now listen to this. After registering Prime Coaching, I started going around teaching people for free in government institution. By the meeting about Wednesday, I'll go there and I want to come to speak for free. I remember one day I was speaking at the Ministry of Transport before I even wrote a book. And when I was making a conversation, after making a presentation, the young man approaches me. Mr. Makwana, that was so powerful. I loved your story. Where can I buy your books? That was a ripple effect of you putting yourself out there, and certain opportunities that you have not aimed at, they automatically come to you. That is what they call the law of attraction. When you take that step, there's a certain things that fall into place. So after I realized that, I started looking at my story and I wrote the book, The Birth of Greatness. I was introducing who Mompoloki Makwana was. And after writing my book, Big Budget, people started asking me, where did you publish? Do you have a publishing business? I opened a publishing business. It was a ripple effect of me not doing many things. I hear people say I'm doing many things. I don't do many things. I empower people, whether through my voice, my radio, my books, my business, written work. One thing that is in different forms. You get the point. So that's how business were established. But now let's look at the market and you know, the business environment. The business environment responds to value. And how you price your business, the services you offer. People respond with regards to the stories people are telling about your business. So I've seen the magic of how Botswana business works.
All right.
In Prime
Tell us
Coaching.
About that.
When we do coaching for staff, when we do coaching for employees, when we do coaching for, there was a program where people, I didn't think about it, but people started inviting me to their families on Sundays to come and talk to their families on issues affecting family issues. Then I started doing Ignite Your Family program.
Wow.
That is just how God expands himself when you are available to serve. So now, the secret is being able to create value to this one client. I heard people say, just ask me a simple question, because we want to fit in that, hey, I'm making big money. I know I just have 100 clients. I listen to someone who say, no, I just have one client. And I say, if you can take care of that one client, this one client will bring 1 billion client. He said, if you can make 10 pula, you can make 10,000. So the attitude of being able to serve the one person you meet, they will speak. This week I received 4 people from one client. So
people from one client.
From one client. So you never know whom the people are representing when they come to your workplace. So at Prime Coaching, we develop people. So we are our programs are focused on staff development. They're focused on one-on-one leadership. I do career development. It's called the Career Corner, which actually started in the lockdown. And the business, I was wondering, what are we going to do? People start calling, things are changing. We want to improve on how we can position ourselves. Or the 4th Industrial Revolution. Then I created a program called Career Corner. I was coaching HR managers. Business leaders, one-on-one, Zoom calls, and they were willing to pay. Why? Because it's the value and the track record matters. We don't have to become billionaires today, but we have to create value today. So that's what Prime Coaching is all about.
Wow. Thank you so much. Pointers there, and I hope we're taking notes at home, because I had another guest on the show and I said I really wish I brought my notepad here. And today it's the same sentiment. If I had my notepad here, you're talking about how taking the first step had a ripple effect, a domino effect, in the sense that most of your businesses came to you.
They came to me.
Having taken that first decision, as you said, I decided. It's important for us to know what exactly we want. Let's decide. Thereafter, the opportunities came to you, and business after business, because now I'd term you a serial entrepreneur. Again, serial entrepreneur, because this turned into that, this brought that.
Exactly.
And I like how you mentioned that the creation of value. We should never underestimate that one client, because that one client, it speaks to the power of word of mouth.
True.
You see, that value that you created for that one client was then communicated to others, who then came to you. You also said something very important there. You said, never underestimate that individual that comes to you. Because a lot of us will say, no, my specific target is this, or my specific, my ideal client is this and that. And whereas you don't know what kind of value you can unlock from the very person who has come through your door. So it's important for us not to really have judgments per se, and see how we can just focus on creating value.
Let me add to that.
Yes.
As long as you live, never ever box yourself with a title.
Box yourself with a title.
Because every day you are becoming something you have never seen.
Wonderful.
When I'm making this presentation and my mother being on Facebook, she is seeing someone she had not seen yesterday.
Wonderful.
What we experience before we sleep, what we read and what we understand, and our exposure expands us to become the beast that we never knew we could become. If I could have asked you 17 years ago, you wouldn't be telling me about big budget business, sure.
Not at all.
So, but you opening up to opportunities. Let me borrow the words of the great philosopher who started personal development, Jim Rohn. He said, embrace all experiences. You never know which one will turn everything on.
Wow.
And so every day when you wake up with the attitude to serve, you don't have to be serving as the CEO all the times, but you have to inherit the CEO mindset that even when you are rubbing the shoes, even when you are cleaning the set, even when you are putting the camera, even when you are shooting the live feed, that you want to be the best of the best that you can possibly be. Because you may think, because you are biased, there's biased consciousness, there's borrowed belief system in us to think, oh, I'm the speaker. I don't know what I'm going to become tomorrow. I will be lying if I tell you. So if I can do my best today, and people look in from the outside and say, Mona, how striker or defender? Then I have to get to defending and do the work. So that is very crucial in you becoming a person of value. When I said the birth of greatness, and then I was talking about every day I'm birthing the new me. And as an executive, as a business person, yes, you are selling oranges. But if someone comes to your shop every day, but the apple, man, you need to change and sell
Might as well.
the apple, because that's what the market is telling you to do. But most of the time we are stuck, and hey, people know me as
rigid.
this.
We are rigid.
People normally say that what? People know me as this.
Yes.
And I want to say this to our viewers, people don't know you as that.
Wow.
You are someone who is ever evolving. And today, if you can decide that every day I'm going to become better and better and better, and we deal with rigidity that you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. So this rigidity, for us to lose that, it requires continuous improvement.
It does.
Continuous, for those in professional settings, continuous professional development.
Everywhere.
So that tomorrow, like you're saying, I'm not the same big budget that I was yesterday.
Yeah.
We are constantly evolving. Wow, this is a high-powered interview. And you already have a comment here from Lulu Bontle Lesiapeto, who says, loving this.
She's a very great professional when it comes to PR issues.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Lulu, for joining.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lulu, for that.
Yeah.
And then here's Lavik. He says, powerful. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Lavik.
This is great.
And please let us know where you're watching from.
Oh, yes, that would be great. Definitely. Please let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah.
And there's something that I'm going to talk about at the end of the show, which is very, very much tied to what you said.
Yeah.
Let us know where you're commenting or calling in from. Yeah. Another one, embrace all experiences. This is Keith Tafadzwa Kanengoni. He says, embrace all experiences.
Yeah.
Thanks. He's picked up something there. So, thank you so much for those comments. Let's keep them coming. Let's engage. We will share a link. I think it should be in a few minutes, which you can use to call into the show if you'd like to speak to Mompoloki Makwana about anything that we'll be talking about today. For the sake of time, because I'm sure we can spend hours here. Let's talk about this issue of career development.
Yeah.
Career development, career growth. Why would you say that that is important for individuals?
And add the word today. Why is it important today?
I like that.
Because I'm mindful of seasons, big budget.
Yes.
Years back, you will go from varsity and the job will be ready for you. I was listening to one teacher in my tour, the 2021 Dominate Leadership Tour. Yes. And she was saying, normally when I finished my school, the job was waiting for me. Today is not the same.
That's not the same.
And here's what I want to start with, big budget.
Yeah.
I want to start this conversation with this information that, great jobs are not found. Great jobs are not found, they are created.
Yes.
You create jobs by creating opportunities for yourself. Wonderful. So it's no longer of the outward looking. It's about what do I have to create a position for myself.
Yes.
When I finished my varsity, can I tell the truth? There was an application that was open and I applied for something that I was not qualified for. The owner of the business called me and say, we see so much value in what you do. We want to create a position for you. Wow. They even set up an office for me.
Wow.
I had 2 offers. Then unfortunately, I had to let it go to join the other business. But it's about you being able to look within you and say, what do I have in me that I can refine, package, and market?
Refine, package, and market. Hold that thought, because I was going to talk about this issue of positioning also. Yes, you've created this job for yourself, but now let's look at in a competitive, or not necessarily competitive in business environment, and then also in our employee settings.
Yes.
How am I supposed to, or how can I, as an employee, position myself to be the noticed one, or the one who creates the most value?
Oh, that's powerful. Because this is what I shared in What Amazing Employees Do.
What amazing employees do.
And let me pick just one subject from it.
Perfect.
They are value-orientated and not talk-orientated.
Perfect.
People can say what they say.
Yes.
Words are limited, but behavior is universal.
Yes.
One of my mentors who wrote this book, The Vibrant Workplace, Dr. Paul White, he said words are noise. He said when you go in a forest, and you see these monkeys and they are jumping. This one monkey is full of energy. Yep. It starts moving from one branch to another.
Yes.
Sooner or later, monkeys start joining it into rhythm. And you have a mob of monkeys moving. Yes. It didn't say anything, it was behaving.
Yes.
And today, when you want to position yourself, everyone can talk for themselves. Wonderful. Everyone can speak for themselves. But value speaks more volume even when you are not there to speak.
Yes.
You being able to go an extra mile, becoming an extra mile person, becoming, a result-oriented person. It may seem that it does not pay off in our continent today, in our country today. Big Budget are mindful when I teach thousands of employees,
Yes.
thousands of business leaders today, that people think that, now I've been doing the work and people don't recognize me. The job market is shifting. By 2025, many people and half of our country people are going to be jobless. And those who are going to have jobs are not those who are hired, but those who hire themselves. And therefore, value creation is not for the boss. Value creation is not for your business leader. Value creation is not for the president. It's for you and your family.
Wow.
And being able to sit down and say, what skills do I have? What information? We're talking about the information-based economy.
Yes.
Knowledge-based economy. And I tell people all the time, in the next 20, 25, in the next 25, 50 years, you are not going to be using a passport or a visa to go to other countries. They are going to be asking you, what do you know that our people don't know that we should allow you to come here?
Yeah,
and therefore, when you are not mindful that you need to create something in you, that when your time comes, your interview comes, your promotion comes, you are ready. You saw what I posted on LinkedIn last week?
Yes. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
We were talking about the issue of preparation, preparedness. You see, they said, I heard someone say, luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
That's it.
So when you're prepared, keep yourself prepared. So you're saying, in essence, that career development is not necessarily for me to say, okay, for my boss, or maybe for the business leaders. No, it's for me and my family, such that when an opportunity arises, I find myself positioned and ready. Let me get into the contents, the comments here. We have, yes, thank you. You responded. Somebody says here, no, it's Keith Tafadzwa Kanengoni, who says, watching from Joburg, SA.
That's beautiful.
Lovely. From Gaborone to the world, ladies and gentlemen. And now, I can see that the link has been shared. If you would like to call in and speak to us, we're having a very high power engagement here. If you'd like to call in, speak to us, please click on that link and we will receive you and hear whatever it is that you have to say too. I was also now going to talk about the fourth industrial revolution, because that's the order of the day. That's the talk of the town. The fourth industrial revolution, 4IR. What is this issue? For someone at home who might not understand, what is this issue and how does it affect me, either as a young business person or a young professional?
I want to go back to my degree now, economics.
Okay.
We're talking, we've been a labor-intensive economy, which means people have been doing the work.
Yes.
And now we are moving from labor-intensive economy, like what China is, to a more technologically intensive economy, which means machines are doing the work.
Yes.
And mark my way, there are people who think machines are, Botswana is backwards, machines are going to come 10 years. It is already here.
It's here.
It's already here.
It's here.
And sometimes that is just an app that can be able to collect calls and forward them to someone.
Yes.
And that is 3 people losing their job.
Wow.
Sometimes just a filing system that collects, the files and reports. 4 people loses the job.
Wow.
And it's a small but steady. Remember in junior school when we taught about the theory of evolution, gradual change. But where are the dinosaurs today? And the next 10 years, 50 years, it will be, where are the employees today? Where are the business managers today? Why? Because technology is taking over.
Absolutely.
We went to Amazon. We went to see, how they do that stuff, and machines were packing boxes.
Wow.
Now they are developing robots to do deliveries.
Imagine.
The scooters are going out of the way.
Drones are already
Hundreds
doing a lot
of
of
people.
work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is what is happening. So, and this is one thing that I want to share. Today, if someone wants to apply for a job in Botswana from South Africa, they can do so and start working tomorrow without the work permit. And that means today you're not competing with Mompoloki Makwana Big Budget, you're competing with millions other people in Africa.
Wonderful.
So your ability to identify what's your superpower, what are you really, really great at, what are you really, really good at, will be very crucial in building, your positioning in your job market, in your business, and in your job.
Wow, I think we have a call there. I'm not too sure. The team tells me that we have a call. I'm not sure if I can hear. Hello, caller. How are you?
Hi. My
Hi.
name is
Yes, caller.
Lisa.
We can hear you.
Great show, by the way.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Tell us who you are, where you're calling from.
Oh, my name is Timisang. I'm in Moshopa.
Wonderful, wonderful.
What's
your question or
my
comment?
My question is, because I feel like you've already understood that most Botswana, we don't like to take risks. You can empower us as much as you want, but we never do it, you know. So I'm wondering, since you guys are so empowered and because you are not afraid to take the risks, maybe do those businesses and maybe venture into like venture capitalism as the Americans did it, so that you actually employ these people who don't want to take risks. Because you guys know it, that as no matter how much you can empower us, we're not gonna do it. Because I feel like maybe people should find another approach. I don't know, because it seems like it's not working. It's just gonna be like that for forever. I don't know.
Wow, Tumisang, thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
You did say Tumisang, right?
And
Oh, okay. No, thank you so much for that. Oh, I think we can see you there. Oh, hi, Tumisang. You just appeared on our screen.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, do you want to tackle that first?
Yeah, I want to.
Okay.
I like how she really put it, that Botswana is not like things are gonna change.
Yes.
It just happened, you know. What he talked about, Dr. Charles Darwin.
Yes.
Species which are not willing to change faces extinction. It's okay.
Please repeat that.
Species which are not willing to adapt to the changing environment, they face extinction. And it is already happening. That there is someone who did a course 1900 Robert.
Yes.
With 10, 15 courses. There are people, you know, in this era, I've seen a quote in Facebook that there are people who are going to become millionaires, billionaires, and those who just watch.
Wow.
We are going to have people who just watch. And it's okay. We always have audience in the stadiums, in the arenas. But what I can challenge an individual Motswana at home who is willing to secure the future of their kids, secure the future of their countries, they must be willing to remove the attitude that things can never change. I wrote about it in my book, Embrace Your Greatness, the first chapter, where I said, do with what you can deal with and let go that which you cannot deal with. Wow. And I expanded more about the fixed mindset and the flexible mindset, that there are people who say it can never happen. That people who say, it cannot happen, but I'm going to do something.
Yes.
And those people who do something, who try, they end up becoming the best of the best.
Imagine.
You know, average is so normal that people who are trying are the best. So now you... So that is the attitude that we are seeing in our country today.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to be receiving that, because one of the things why we say things like that is because we are not exposed.
Okay.
If you can just go and you celebrate Makwana as they celebrate him, and you go to a conference in Southern African conference, and you see young people of my age, the things they are doing, you will come back and cry in your room and say, I'm not doing anything. Exposure is one thing that I challenge our people to do.
Wow.
Exposure is even just moving from Monaladao, which is my village, to come into Francistown and just seeing people how they do things and just opening up your mind. So that is very crucial.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. I take it that Tumisang, I think she's, the line has cut. Tumisang, you answered there. Let's try our best to embrace change. Let's not be, we did talk about rigidity. And I think also the mindset that we need to have, you said, a flexible mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Because a fixed one will lead to the extinction. You did say, I asked you to repeat that. Say it once again.
Species which are not willing to adapt, they will face extinction. And if it means the whole country of Botswana face extinction and people come in to take our homes, then it will be.
Wow, and that's a very scary thought. So let's see how we can develop ourselves and try and avoid this extinction that he talks about. Thank you so much for that. If you'd like to call in, we're still live. Please do so. If you'd like to comment, please continue keeping your comments coming. Right, I was going to ask now, how can we access the services of Prime Coaching and Prime Publishers? Prime Publishers, you didn't really touch much on that. Maybe just a brief introduction of Prime Publishers and what it does.
With Prime Publishers, we publish books, sort of something like this. We do take your script from a handwritten or from a computer written, and then we transform into a product like this. And then we help you going forward on how you can market your book and get it out there. When I was in the US, I managed to meet the people from the Brooklyn Book Festival, which is one of the leading in the world. 2 women, older women, that are doing a massive work. And they were interested in us creating partnership and taking our literature to America. That is something we're working on with Methia Khama. We're going to have the writers' workshop and coaching sessions. People who are wanting to write anything, poems, businesses issues, we are willing to cultivate that literature and take it out to the people. So we publish books at Prime Publishers, and we do coaching at Prime Coaching. You can contact us on our Facebook page, Prime Coaching, or my page, Mompoloki Makwana. My number is 74776196, 74776196.
Wonderful. Before I let you go, there's one thing that I think we didn't really touch on. We did speak about how, as an employee working in an organization, how I can create that value, fine, and stand out. And you did say it's for me, it's not necessarily for anyone else. But let's talk about a bit about team dynamics, especially because you have this book, Team Building Guide for Workplace Effectiveness. Team Building Guide for Workplace Effectiveness. Talk to us a bit about team dynamics. What are your thoughts on this issue, and how can we best leverage our team efforts to create value?
I realize that when I work with individuals, say that there are teams leaders who don't know their people well. And you cannot get the best out of people who don't know. Even in a relationship, you cannot please a girl or a man whom you don't know what they like. So the ability to draw down to understand the human dynamics. And in this book, I talked about values. You know how some organizations say, you know, this. Where this written by the people in the team or the business leader. The business leader most of the time. And then they are not operating on that. So being able to understand the values, the big budget or you know, there are companies where I was working at that really gave birth to this book, What Amazing Employees Do. They will allow me to go to the Yale Regional. They will allow me to go to Mandela Washington Fellowship. They will allow me to go for a month, and they will still pay me. Because they understood what I stand for. They understood what I want to represent. They saw me impacting Botswana, not only the organization. You get so the ability to understand your teams is your secret to your business success.
Understand your
People
team.
don't buy. There's a statement that I open with here that I want to share. I want to close with. Customers will only love a company when employees love it first. Those are the words of Simon Sinek. Customers will only love a company when employees love it first. Are people coming to buy from you? Because people don't come to buy products, they come to buy from people. They come to buy from identities. And when you are able to identify your people, when you are able to nurture your employees, if you make your employees happy, they will make your customers happy. So you being able to identify really, what do my employees like? Do they like a party at December and they want a trip? Do they, or is it on a budget? But allow them to understand what they want. Authentic, real value appreciation. Is it more thing? You're the lesson that packing. You know, some employees don't have cars.
Yeah, that's true.
And being able to identify that, okay, this is what we have within our teams. That's when our businesses, we can have better customer service. We have poor customer service in Botswana. And it's because we don't cultivate our people. They think they represent their boss. While they don't know that they represent their own future. When customers don't come, they lose jobs. That is something we need to understand.
When customers don't come, they're about to lose their jobs. This has been such a wonderful conversation, and I'm sure we'll have you here again. Mr. Mompoloki Makwana, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been wonderful, and it's been highly insightful. So thank you so much. You did say where people can reach you. Did you speak about your socials? Sorry,
I talked about Mompoloki Makwana on social media, Instagram. Please, let's connect on LinkedIn to talk about issue of profession, and also go after God's heart.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Makwana, for being here.
Thank you so much.
Right. So please don't shift or go anywhere. We'll be just going for a short ad break, and then we will be back.
All my enemies will suffer my wrath, but those of my household will enjoy my embrace. I refuse to let my weakness get the best of me. Be more hard and less attack.
Right, so at the end of every episode of Big Budget Business, what we do is we give a 2-minute tip for young people in business or in their professional settings. But today we will not necessarily be giving you a tip per se, but rather a vote of thanks and a note of appreciation to all of our viewers. We are proud to say here at Black Network and Moana Pictures, and myself as Big Budget, that we are 25 episodes into big budget business. And this is all because of your support as our viewers at home. Those comments that you keep coming, those calls that you make on all these different shows, they mean the world to us. And here's to many more episodes and more growth. Let's continue to grow together. Thank you so much for 25 episodes of big budget business. So before we leave, we always remind you and to never, ever, ever forget that you were born for so much more. Till the next episode, it's good night and God bless.
All my enemies will suffer my wrath, but those of my household will enjoy my embrace. I refuse to let my weakness get the best of me. Be more hard and less attack.